Hello there and welcome back to the So You Picked series, where we have a look at your starter toolkit, then heading out into the field to show you how it all works. Now this time we're actually revisiting Arcanist because in 6.0 Endwalker they reworked the class, making my original guides completely obsolete. So Rain, firstly, welcome back. People missed you in this Reaper and Sage guys, by the way. But we're back. You're back anyway. We've gotten some of the cool stuff coming for you as well. So, you're caught up with the new Arcanist? Good, good. Right, guys. So, grab your snacks and let's get stuck in. Right, guys. So, first things first. The toolkit. Now, if you've played Arcanist prior to 6.0, you will have noticed that all of your toolkit is different in some form or another, and it can be quite confusing to work out what the hell's going on. So we're going to blast through the toolkit all the way up to level 30 real quick, and then we're going to put it all together and we're going to discuss how it all fits together in a combat setting. Now first up, you will get Ruin. Now that will deal unexpected damage with a potency of 240 to your chosen target. Very straightforward, it is your basic attack. Now next up, at level 2 you get two abilities, Summon Carbuncle and Radiant Aegis. Now Summon Carbuncle is quite important because that will unlock access to a lot of your higher level skills, so you always need them out. However, the base Carby doesn't actually attack enemies for you. He will just sit there and follow you around, and he is kind of a support pet. He will grant access to Radiant Aegis, which is the other level 2 skill. Now Radiant Aegis, when you use it, it will tell you Carby to generate a barrier around yourself that will absorb damage totaling of 20% of your maximum health points, and that shield will last for 30 seconds. Pretty damn cool. Now you can only use that when Carbuncle is summoned. But what he also does is he allows you to use his ether, his energy, in order to summon actual attack Carbies. For Arcanists, it is Ruby Carbuncle, Topaz Carbuncle, and Emerald Carbuncle. Now they will upgrade over the higher levels you get into more stronger enemies. That's essentially how it works. You use your base Carby in order to summon the attack ones. Pretty cool system actually, but we'll go a little bit deeper into that one when we get to the actual summons themselves. Now next up, at level 4 you will get Physic. Now Physic is a healing spell. It has a cure potency of 400 and it will restore your target's health points. Now Physic is okay at lower levels, but as you level up and you get higher and higher, it becomes less and less useful. It has its uses, but it becomes very much less and less useful the longer you go on. A lot of people don't have it on their hotbars anymore. Now at level 6, you'll get 3 skills. Now they all interconnect with each other. I'm going to try and explain it as best I can. So first up, you will get Ether Charge. Now Ether Charge will buff the potency of Ruin, Ruin 2 and Ruin 3 by 50 points. And your Outburst AoE version by 20 points. Now that buff will last for 15 seconds, and when it runs out, it will grant you 3 Arcanum crystals, a ruby, a topaz, and an emerald. Now you would use those crystals in order to summon Ruby Carbuncle, Topaz Carbuncle, and Emerald Carbuncle. Now at level 6 you only have access to Ruby. Now when you summon Ruby, your Ruby Carbuncle will be summoned and it will rush the target and deal fire damage with a potency of 400. And it will grant you 2 stacks of fire attunement. Now in order to use your fire attunement stacks, you would then go off to your 3rd level 6 skill called Gem Shine. You would use Gem Shine, and that is how you use your fire stacks from Ruby. Now it sounds more complicated than it actually is. It's really one of those things that is easier to show you than it is to try and explain it. So we'll have a proper look at that towards the end in the actual combat section itself. Now again, at level 10 you get 2 skills. I'm going to discuss energy drain first. Now energy drain will deal unaspected damage with a potency of 200 to your enemy, and it will grant you 2 ether flow stacks, which are the 2 diamond crystals that are in the gold box on your job gauge. I would use those 2 crystals in order to use your other level 10 skill called Fester. Now Fester will deal unaspect damage with a potency of 300 to your enemy, and it will cost you 1 ether flow crystal. So you can essentially use 2 Festers every 60 seconds. Now next up, level 12, you will get Resurrection. Now Resurrection has a high MP cost, but it will resurrect your target to a weakened state. Incredibly handy for if your healer accidentally dies, or your healer's having to heal a lot and someone's dead and you want to bring them, you can bring them back instead of the healer. Like the healer ones though, I would only recommend you use it when you have Swift Cast available from Roll Skills, which you get at level 8, access to at level 18. Now next up, level 15, you will get access to your second attack carbuncle, Topaz. Now when you summon Topaz, it will rush your target and will deal earth damage with a potency of 400, and it will grant you 4 stacks of earth attunement. And again, you would use those stacks with Gem Shine. Nice and straightforward. Then next up, level 22, you will get Summon Emerald, your 3rd attack summon. Now when you use Summon Emerald, Emerald Carbuncle will do a ranged attack which will deal wind damage with a potency of 400, and it will grant you 4 stacks of wind attunement. And like the others, you would use Gem Shine in order to use those. Now at level 26, you will get 2 more skills. You will get Outburst and you will get Precious Brilliance. Now Outburst is an AoE attack for yourself, which will deal unaspected damage with a potency of 100 to the target and all enemies nearby it. And likewise, Precious Brilliance is the AoE version of Gem Shine. And we use both of those whenever there are more than 3 enemies in the fight. And lastly, at level 30, you will get Ruin 2. Now Ruin 2 is a straight up upgrade to Ruin 1 and will replace it on your hotbar automatically. Now that will deal unaspected damage with a potency of 270, so it's a little bit of a better damage buff as well. Nice and cool stuff. And that is your Arcanist toolkit. Now next we're going to jump out into the field, and we're going to head to a training dummy, and we're going to show you how it all works. Right guys, so we've made it out to the training dummy. Now the level 30 rotation isn't as hard as the tooltips make it sound. It flows quite well. Just takes a little bit of practice getting used to. It's a lot easier than the old pre 6.01. A lot easier, less to worry about. So first things first, make sure that you have your base carbuncle out, because he unlocks most of all of your like higher power damage spells, so make sure you have him out. Now next, I would lead off with an energy drain straight into 2 Festers, and then straight into ether charge. Now while you're under that ether charge buff, hit them with as many Ruin 2s as you can. Like so. And then when the buff runs out, you'll get access to your 3 attack summons. So your summon order is quite adaptable, to be fair, and you can kind of think of them like heavy, medium and light attacks. Rubies is like your heavy attack. You need to be ideally in a, if you're in a stable spot and you know that you're not going to have to move around a lot, then use Ruby Summon first. if you're in a position where you know that you're going to need to move around a little bit because you're dodging AoEs, then summon Topaz first. And likewise, if you know that you're going to be running around a lot and dodging a lot of AoEs, I would recommend hitting them with Emerald first, and then adapting the other two based on your situation as well. Fairly adaptable and quite a cool system in general. Now you will be using all three of them, and by the time you use all three of your summons, Ether Charge will be back off cooldown, and just repeat the process. Spam as many Ruin 2s in that timer as you can, just for the extra damage. And remember to use Energy Drain and Fester whenever Energy Drain's off cooldown. Nice and straightforward. Now, AoE wise, your rotation is pretty much exactly the same, with the exception that instead of Ruin 2, you'll be using Outburst, and instead of Gem Shine, you'll be replacing that with Precious Brilliance. And the rotation's pretty much the same. You'll use Energy Drain straight into Festers. Now at higher levels, these two skills will be replaced by AoE versions, but until that point, lead off with these for the extra damage. It's worthwhile. Straight into an Ether Charge, and as many outbursts as you can get in the 15-second window. Usually I think it's around about 5 that you can get in. And then after that, you have your summons unlocked. Now again, depending on your situation, will affect the order which you use your summons in. You would use Ruby for a heavy slow attack. Straight into the Precious Brilliance, 2 hits of that. Straight into Topaz, and have 4 medium hit with him. And lastly, straight into Emerald, and 4 light hits with her. About time, Ether Charge will be back up and running. Straight back into Outburst spam, and just repeat the process from there. It really is super simple now. I have a lot less to worry about. Only other thing is remember to use Energy Drain and your 2 Festers whenever Energy Drain's off cooldown. And use Radiant Aegis whenever you feel that you're going to take hits. Cast that every 60 seconds, and it's just a nice little shield if you know you're going to be taking some damage. And that is the level 30 rotation for Arcanist. Like I said, they've simplified it to a wonderful degree. You have less to worry about now. You have a little bit more mobility. And in general, personally, I find it a really good change to it. A really good change to the job. Right guys, so that's been our look into the new version of Arcanist. Now hopefully it has unlocked some of the quirks of the job and how all the new stuff works. It was quite a substantial rework. It is a lot simpler than the old one. A little bit more straightforward, and generally, as a general thing, I actually genuinely enjoy the new changes. Some people don't. It's hit and miss at the minute from what I can tell. Right, Rain. So thank you again for your help. It's always appreciated. I think coming up we're going to be using Leah for the summoner video. Then we're going to be back to you with Warrior, which is the last of the starter classes, starter jobs. And then we're going to be moving on after Warrior. We're going to be moving on to the expansion jobs. Probably starting with Red Mage. You like a bit of red mage, don't you? Right. So, thank you all for watching. I hope it has helped you out. If it has, let me know in the comment section below. If you have any other questions, again, hit us up in the comments below. I'll be glad to answer as many as I can. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. Come hang out, come check out some of the stuff I've got going on. Would love to have you here. If you're not new here, again, welcome back. Thank you for all the support. It's always appreciated. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. And you all know what's coming. Please like, share, comment, subscribe and all that jazz. And as always, shall see us on the flip side. Bye bye.